Hey guys, and welcome back. So I wanted to take a look at these recent quote-unquote leaks that have surfaced. Now they're not confirmed by any means. They're more rumors. I wouldn't call them leaks. I guess you could say they're rumors. Probably very unlikely considering the poster is extremely uncredible considering they're anonymous. But I thought, you know what? Why not take a look at them? So these were posted by a Twitter user by the name of John or at Prince JCR, and they posted it at a YouTuber that goes by the name of Ruffled Rowlet. He's a poke YouTuber that's got a larger audience. I think of like 100K or something. But anyway, I wanted to take a look at these leaks and explore the ideas here. So I'm going to start with what he's got to say. All right, boys, I've been sitting on some information regarding Pokemon Sword and Shield, and today seems like a good day to dump it. First up, the starters. I was not able to see the third evolutions, only the second stages. All three of them look slightly feminine. Scorbunny remains pure fire until its third evolution, at which point it gains the fairy type. There are slight references to its final typing in its second stage design. It looks like a jackalope with fairy wing aesthetic on its ears. Sobble gains the psychic type during its second stage, and it looks like a mix between an Old English playwright and a harlequin. Grookey gains a dark typing during its second stage. Its stick grows longer and can be used as a bat or a baton, but it can split apart to be used as drumsticks for its sound-based attacks. It's slightly hard to describe it accurately, so I'll say for now that it looks more monkey-like than ape-like, and the pony tail on its head gets longer. It almost looks like a mohawk. So right off the bat, that kind of seems, I want to say unoriginal if all three of them look like are following this sort of feminine design. I mean, most people I'd think would want their Pokemon to, each starter to look different and unique in its own way instead of all of them to be following the same sort of design. Now the same theme, kind of like how they did with X and Y and Sun and Moon, that's fine, but if you make them all kind of look similar, like if you have three Primarina looking Pokemon, it's not going to really be too interesting. But let's move on to the next paragraph. So secondly, the story. The story is actually very good this time around. The gym leaders in Elite Four feel like characters and play a large role in the story besides removing roadblocks. Characters from previous gens appear in the story, which is pretty obvious. Like that happens in pretty much every game. But it's a very good plot point, so I won't spoil it. Cutscenes will be skippable, but the animation looks pretty clean, even in handheld mode, so I wouldn't recommend skipping it. So there's nothing really big of interest there. I mean, the fact that cutscenes are skippable, it's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if they have some skippable cutscenes. It's nothing revolutionary. It's kind of interesting, I guess, but other than that, like if it's your first time playing through the game, you won't want to skip them. But if you're someone who likes to, play on a second game and sort of play through a little quicker, do whatever, you could skip the cutscenes anyway. That's my point. So number 3 is the gimmick. The idea of armor isn't far off at all, but it isn't as literal as you'd expect, except for Mewtwo. The way it works is that you get a certain item, something small like a badge, and equip it to a Pokemon in a battle, and the Pokemon gains a special enhancement, or armaments as he says, and it boosts certain stats. As I mentioned earlier, only Mewtwo will have a full body armor, and it will be the set from the original anime. Most other designs I've seen include harnesses and pads. Different armors adjust different stats, some even power up certain moves, i.e. one of them powers up the elemental punches. I'm aware of one particular armor that increases the stat boon/bane of a Pokemon's nature. So this is sort of interesting, but again, like there's nothing really here to suggest that what he's saying is true. I mean, it sounds like an interesting concept, I guess. But the thing that I have an issue with is if you're someone who plays on Smogon, let's say, and obviously before everyone starts freaking out, if you're a Smogon player, obviously the Pokemon community or the Pokemon like Game Freak, they don't have to cater to you because that's not the official competitive league. But just hear me out. Like, you got Mega Evolution, which in Gen 6 was already a big thing. Like, a lot of the Megas ended up getting banned. Now you have Z moves. So, with the VGC, in Gen 7, they banned Megas. So, it was just Z moves. So, it does make sense that they're going to have a certain gimmick for Gen 8 that's Gen 8 only. And VGC will probably ban Z moves and Mega Evolutions. That'll probably continue every gen. They're going to have a gimmick that VGC focuses on that one thing. The problem I have is when you play Smogon tiers, it's insane. You have people using Megas, Z moves, like all these different things. And as the gens progress, you're going to have all these different things. So even if you don't think about Smogon, if you're having a battle with one of your friends, you got to look out for Z moves. You got to look out for this. You got to look out for that. It's going to get to the point where everything's just too overcomplicated for no reason. That's just my opinion, though. Let me know what you guys think about sort of changing the gimmick every gen. Like, I wouldn't mind them just continuing and making more Mega Evolutions. rather than come up with some random thing. Like I personally really did not like Z moves. Next is the gameplay. Difficulty modes are here. There will be 3 settings: one for new players, one for the average core RPG player, and one for a competitive player. See, I would love that. Like I would love to actually have a difficulty that doesn't make me feel like I'm just strolling on through the world. I'm unsure of the specific changes that each setting brings, but I am aware that in the hardest settings there are encounters that are tougher and more frequent. The gyms scale in level depending on the strongest member in your party. They'll remain 1 to 2 levels above your entire team unless you do some serious power level. As for new information, if I remember correctly from the meetings, some information will be released sometime around mid to late May, but knowing them, it'll probably just be a teaser with a "hey, watch E3 for more info" bit at the end. So like I said, take these leaks with a grain of salt. There's no real evidence to prove that they're true. I mean, you could go ahead and say there's no evidence to prove that they're fake, but I mean, you can't really disprove a negative, so that's just pointless to say. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about that, like difficulty settings, this concept that this person came up with for armored evolution, and when do you think the next announcement will be? Because I do think mid to end May is pretty likely, but Nintendo usually doesn't actually announce anything at E3. They usually have their own separate thing. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like and subscribe, and comment down below. Thanks. See ya.